Hello, my name is Matthew Doan, and today I'm going to be doing my presentation on gene therapy. So, first off, what is gene therapy? So, gene therapy is an experimental technique that uses genes to treat or prevent diseases. So, in the future, this technique may allow doctors to treat a disorder by inserting the gene into the patients without using drugs or surgery. So, researchers are testing a bunch of different ways that this may be able to work. So, some of them include replacing a mutated gene that causes disease with a healthy copy of the gene, inactivating or knocking out a mutated gene that is functioning improperly, and finally introducing a new gene into the body that to help fight a disease. So um, there are a lot of different options that they have, but they're testing all of them to make sure that they find one that is 100% safe and won't kill people, basically. So, although gene therapy is a promising treatment option for a number of diseases, including inherited diseases, some types of cancer, and certain viral infections, the technique remains risky and is still under investigation to make sure that it will be safe and effective. Gene therapy is currently being tested only for diseases that have no other cures. So, it's basically for people that there's no drugs, there's no surgery that can help them. Gene therapy is their last hope at either like living or a normal life. Okay, so for the second one, some ethical issues that come along with gene therapy include how can people determine good and bad use of gene therapy? So, what's right from wrong? Who decides which traits are normal and which constitute a disability or a disorder? Will the cost of gene therapy make it available only to wealthy people? And then finally, could the widespread use of gene therapy make basically give people enhancements? So, more intelligent, height, athletic ability, and stuff like that. So, current gene therapy research focuses on treating individuals by targeting the therapy to body cells such as bone marrow or blood cells. This type of gene therapy cannot be passed to a person's children. Gene therapy could be targeted to the egg and sperm cell, however, which would not allow the inserted gene to be passed on to future generations. Okay, so basically, what that paragraph was saying is that even though, um, let's say a mother and a father, the mother will have gene therapy done, it won't pass off to her children because it's in her, it's part of her, it's part of her genes. Okay, so then the ideal of germline gene therapy is controversial. While it could spare future generations in the family from having a particular genetic disorder, it might affect the development of a fetus. So, this type of gene therapy, the germline gene therapy, it could hurt a baby when she's in her mother, or um, it could affect babies. It could do some pretty bad stuff. So, in unexpected ways, or have long term side effects that are not yet born. Okay, so basically, all of the ethical issues are pointing towards the fact that even though it looks like it could be a promising cure for some people, that there is no other cure for the diseases, there still are a lot of speed bumps and kind of like blocks in the road that are there until we can figure out if it's 100% safe, and we need to figure out all these laws about what's right and what's wrong. Okay, so now I have some countries here and I did some research on them. So it's basically what I'm going to be going through is what they think about gene therapy and if it's legal in the country or not. So, first of all, we have Australia. So, in Australia, gene therapy is legal. However, in order for any human to undergo clinical trials, they must go through a CTN or clinical trial exemption. So basically, it's putting them through this thing to make sure that they actually need it and there isn't another cure for them, because they don't want to put them through it unless it's absolutely necessary. So for this one, I have put down that it is legal. So they do, Australia does find it that it could be helpful, but there still are, again, a lot of things that they don't know about it yet. So they don't want to give it to people unless it's absolutely necessary. So we have Canada. So Canada experimented with gene therapy. However, when two of the children that underwent clinical trials, they got a form of leukemia. The trials were put on hold until a safer method could be used. So Canada, I guess they came across a problem and they don't want to do this to anybody unless it's absolutely necessary and when they have a safer way to do it. So then the third country I have is the UK. So gene therapy is openly used in the UK for cancer treatment and research. So this means that the UK, they do feel good about gene therapy. Obviously, there still are a lot of laws towards it and a lot of checkpoints and stuff like that that people need to go through before they get it. So then my fourth country is the USA. So in the U.S., they are doing clinical trials to make sure they're doing clinical trials to make sure that it's safe before they make it available to the public. So the US still feels a little iffy on it, so that's why they're doing all these trials to make sure it's safe before they actually release it. So then also some questions that I have here. So number one, how could insurance companies use extra data about people? So I think that if gene therapy becomes widespread, people could use insurance companies could use people with gene therapy to make the costs of the insurance policies higher or lower. So for instance, if people have had gene therapy done and it worked, they're less likely to develop a form of cancer or a viral infection. So their cost is going to be way lower. And then there's people that either they couldn't afford gene therapy or they never had it and their cost is going to go up because they're more at risk. So could the education system be changed? Yes, absolutely. If gene therapy becomes a widespread thing and people start using it for designer babies and to make them smarter and enhance their athletic ability, it could totally affect the education system. Kids will just become smarter to the point where maybe they might not even have to go to school because they'll have a gene put in them that it just makes them a genius and they won't need education. And then kids that don't have that will still need to go to school, but it might be split in half. So kids that need to go to school will still be struggling, and kids that don't won't have to. So number three, so could this lead to discrimination? Absolutely, it could, because it's sort of the same situation as the education system. However, I think that if if people if gene therapy again becomes a widespread thing and people are not careful with it, then it'll separate people that have had gene therapy done and people that haven't had gene therapy done. Okay, so that is my project on gene therapy. In my email with this video, I will attach all the citations for all the websites I used. I will also attach some pictures and videos for you. Okay, bye.